Life, in all its complexity, is a journey that often leaves us weary and disoriented. We traverse through days filled with uncertainty, hardships, and confusion. It's in these moments, when the weight of the world seems too much to bear, that we must pause, reflect, and consider a powerful truth. We cannot do it alone. The notion of inviting God into your situation is not a matter of seeking a fleeting, easy fix. No, it is a call to embrace a deeper, richer relationship with the Creator of all things. For when we invite God into our lives, we invite a presence far greater than ourselves. We acknowledge that our strength is limited, and we open ourselves to the source of all strength, wisdom, and guidance. Imagine walking through a forest on a foggy night. The trees stand tall and unmoving, but the path ahead is shrouded in mystery. You struggle to see clearly, hesitant with each step. Now, imagine that a light appears ahead. A light that dispels the darkness and illuminates the way forward. That light is the divine presence you can call upon. It does not promise to remove the fog entirely, nor does it eliminate the challenges you face, but it allows you to see the way through step by step with confidence and hope. God, in His infinite wisdom, does not impose His will upon us. He waits for us to invite Him in. Why? Because true transformation, true peace, cannot be forced. It must be chosen. By inviting God into your situation, you open the door to an unparalleled source of peace that transcends human understanding. You gain access to a perspective that sees beyond the immediate struggles, a perspective that sees the broader purpose at play. This is not to say that everything will become easy or effortless once God is invited into your life. Quite the opposite. There may be moments when the challenges grow more intense, but with God comes the assurance that you are never alone, that there is a purpose beyond the trials, and that strength will be given to you in ways you cannot yet fathom. And so, my friend, do not allow the busyness of life or the suffocating weight of your burdens to blind you to the profound truth that inviting God into your situation is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. For when you acknowledge that you are not the ultimate authority in your life, you open the door to the one who is. It is a simple yet profound act of faith to step aside and allow the Creator of the universe to step in. And in doing so, you will find that even amidst the storm, there is a quiet, unshakable peace, and a guiding hand that leads you toward a future filled with purpose and hope. So, ask yourself today, what would it look like if you truly invited God into your situation? What might change if you allowed His presence to transform your trials into opportunities for growth? The answer, perhaps, is a life more aligned with the divine purpose, a life infused with meaning, and a life filled with hope, no matter what the future holds. Life is inherently unpredictable and filled with moments of hardship, confusion, and doubt. Whether in personal, professional, or relational matters, challenges are an inevitable part of the human experience. Recognizing this helps us prepare to seek guidance and strength when faced with difficulty. As we navigate through life, We may encounter moments of exhaustion, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally. This weariness can leave us feeling lost, directionless, and overwhelmed. In these times, it is easy to feel that we've lost our way and need something more to guide us. The human experience is not designed for solitary navigation through struggles. While we can show resilience, there are limits to our individual capacity to handle life's burdens. We need help, whether from others or a higher source, to cope with and overcome the difficulties we face. When we invite God into our lives, we are not merely asking for help. We are seeking a deeper, more meaningful relationship. God offers us a connection that transcends human understanding, a relationship rooted in love, wisdom, and faith that deepens over time as we grow closer. God is the ultimate source of strength and wisdom, which are both necessary for enduring life's struggles. When we turn to God, we tap into an infinite reservoir of divine power, insight, and understanding that surpasses what we can achieve on our own. We each have a finite amount of physical and mental strength, which can be exhausted over time. But God's strength is boundless and infinite. When we rely on Him, we are able to draw from a source that never runs dry, empowering us to face challenges that seem beyond our ability. In moments of confusion or uncertainty, turning to God offers clarity and direction. God's wisdom is beyond our comprehension, and His guidance provides a path through life's toughest situations. By seeking God's advice through prayer, reflection, and faith, we find the direction we need. God does not force His presence into our lives. Instead, He respects our free will and waits for us to invite Him into our situations. True transformation, particularly spiritual transformation, cannot be imposed upon us. It is a choice we make. When we invite God into our lives, we choose to allow Him to work in us, shaping and molding us into something better. This process of growth requires our active participation and openness to change. One of the most profound gifts of inviting God into our lives is the peace He offers. This peace is not the absence of conflict or trouble, but an inner calm that transcends circumstances. It is a peace that remains unshaken even in the face of adversity, because it is rooted in trust in God's wisdom and control over all situations. By cultivating a relationship with God, we gain access to a wisdom far beyond human understanding. This divine wisdom allows us to make decisions that align with a higher purpose and provides clarity during moments of uncertainty. When we seek God, we invite His guidance into every aspect of our lives. Having God in our lives does not mean our problems will vanish. However, His presence provides us with the confidence and strength to face those challenges. With God's help, we can approach difficulties with courage, knowing we are supported by His power and wisdom. While we often focus on the immediate pain or struggle in front of us, inviting God into our lives allows us to view our situation from a broader perspective. God's eternal and all-knowing viewpoint helps us see that there is more to our lives than the temporary trials we face. The Spirit of the law for us has to strengthen us so that we may resist the temptation. Unlike human understanding, which is limited by time and circumstance, God's perspective is eternal. He sees the beginning, middle, and end of our lives. When we trust in God's guidance, we are guided by someone who knows the full picture and can lead us on the best path. Sometimes the challenges we face may increase in intensity, even after we invite God into our situation. However, His presence provides the strength and wisdom needed to endure. God doesn't promise to remove all difficulties, but assures us that He will be with us every step of the way, helping us navigate through them. When we invite God into our situation, we acknowledge His sovereignty, His supreme power and authority over everything in existence. This recognition fosters trust as we surrender our circumstances to a higher power who knows what is best for us. God's presence is not just comforting, but empowering. When we invite Him into our lives, we are strengthened by His divine energy. It is through His power that we can endure hardship, overcome obstacles, and grow in character. His strength becomes our own when we lean on Him. One of the most comforting aspects of inviting God into our lives is the assurance that we are never alone. God's constant presence provides companionship, guidance, and support, no matter how isolated we may feel in our struggles. Trusting in God means walking through life with His presence always by our side. Faith in God is the foundation of hope. Even in the darkest moments, when the future seems uncertain and daunting, trusting in God gives us hope. Our faith reminds us that there is a purpose to our suffering, and that God is working in and through our lives to bring about something greater. A relationship with God is not only a source of strength, but also a path to greater wisdom. As we walk with God, we gain understanding of life, relationships, and our own hearts. His wisdom equips us to make better choices, avoid pitfalls, and live in a way that honors Him and serves others. While inviting God into our lives doesn't promise that hardships will disappear, it does guarantee that we won't face them alone. Sometimes challenges may intensify, but with God's guidance, the weight becomes bearable. His wisdom helps us navigate obstacles and gives us the strength to endure. Life's difficulties are often the catalyst for personal growth. With God's help, challenges are not just burdens, they become opportunities to develop resilience, patience, and character. God's presence helps us grow stronger through adversity, learning valuable lessons that shape us into better people. Asking God for help is not a sign of weakness, but a reflection of wisdom. It acknowledges that we cannot control everything, and that it takes humility and strength to surrender our difficulties to a higher power. Inviting God in shows discernment, recognizing that His strength is far greater than our own. God doesn't promise to remove all difficulties from our lives, but He does offer a peace that transcends the troubles we face. True peace isn't found in the absence of problems, but in the presence of God as we walk through trials, knowing He is with us every step of the way. Surrendering control allows God to work freely in our lives. When we step aside and release our grip on the situation, we make room for God's power to move in ways we couldn't have planned. By relinquishing control, we allow His wisdom and strength to take the lead. God's wisdom offers a higher perspective on life's challenges. When we seek His guidance, our view of the situation changes, allowing us to see beyond immediate setbacks and understand the broader picture. This transformed perspective helps us make better decisions and face trials with confidence. Unlike human beings whose time and attention are limited, God is always available. He is not distant or unreachable. He is present, ready to listen, guide, and support us whenever we need Him. This constant availability is a powerful comfort in our lives. When we face life's storms, whether emotional, physical, or spiritual, God's presence provides the strength and peace necessary to endure. With God by our side, we can navigate turbulent times with assurance, knowing that He will carry us through, no matter how fierce the storm. To choose God is to choose peace, for He is the ultimate source of inner calm. When we align our lives with God's will and trust in His plan, we invite peace into our hearts. This peace remains steady and unshaken, even in the midst of chaos, because it is rooted in God's unchanging nature. Unthinking, unprocrastinating, blissfully we consistently engage in God's plan. Life often feels uncertain, especially when we don't know which way to go, but when we turn to God, He illuminates the path ahead. Through His guidance, prayer, and wisdom, we gain clarity on the direction to take, even when the future seems unclear. With God, we never walk in darkness. Difficulties and struggles are often the moments that drive us to deepen our faith. When we encounter challenges, we are reminded of our dependence on God for strength and guidance. These trials can draw us closer to Him, as we learn to rely on His wisdom and power instead of our own. While we may rely on our own abilities in many situations, true strength comes from God's support. When we recognize that our own efforts are limited, we find a deeper source of strength in God's power. With Him, we are empowered to face challenges beyond our capabilities. Life often presents questions that have no immediate answers. We don't always need to have the solution to every problem. What we need is trust in God, who holds all the answers. God's wisdom is sufficient to guide us through uncertainty, even when we don't have a clear understanding of the way forward. When life feels overwhelming, God's perspective provides clarity. While our understanding is often clouded by emotions or circumstances, God sees the full picture. Turning to Him allows us to view our struggles with His clear, eternal vision, helping us find peace and direction, even in difficult times. Inner peace comes from trusting that God is in control, even when life feels chaotic. By surrendering our worries to Him and trusting in His plan, we experience a deep sense of peace that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Trusting God means resting in the assurance that He will guide us through any situation. Letting go of control and surrendering to God opens the door for His insight to flow into our lives. When we release our own understanding and allow God to lead, we gain divine wisdom and clarity that surpasses human reasoning. Trusting God to guide us is the pathway to receiving His valuable insights. So what happens when the mind arises and the thinking? In times of fear and uncertainty, God's presence gives us the courage to face challenges. Knowing that He is with us emboldens us to take steps of faith, even when the future seems daunting. With God by our side, we are never without strength, for He instills in us the courage to move forward. Prayer is a powerful way to invite God into our lives and situations. Through prayer, we open ourselves to God's influence, asking for His guidance, strength, and wisdom. It is through consistent communication with God that we build a relationship with Him and invite His presence into every aspect of our lives. Life is not a destination, but a journey filled with twists, turns, and challenges. God is the ultimate guide on this journey, offering direction and wisdom at each step. When we rely on Him, we can navigate the journey of life with confidence, knowing that He will lead us to the right place at the right time. To invite God into our lives is to embrace a higher purpose and calling. God has a plan for each of us that is greater than our own ambitions or desires. By inviting Him in, we align ourselves with His divine purpose, stepping into a life of greater meaning and fulfillment as we follow His lead. Trusting God allows us to rise above our fears, knowing that He is in control. Fear often stems from uncertainty about the future, but when we place our trust in God, we are reassured that He holds our lives in His hands. This trust enables us to move forward with courage, even in the face of fear. God provides us with a sense of purpose that goes beyond our personal desires or ambitions. When we invite Him into our lives, we align ourselves with His greater plan, discovering a meaningful direction that transcends the temporary concerns of this world. Our purpose becomes clear when we walk with God. Faith in God doesn't eliminate challenges, but it changes the way we view them. With faith, challenges become opportunities for growth, learning, and spiritual development. God uses our difficulties to refine us, strengthen our character, and draw us closer to Him. Trusting God in difficult times builds our character. As we rely on Him for strength and guidance, we grow in virtues like patience, resilience, humility, and faith. These qualities shape us into people who reflect God's character and who can handle life's challenges with grace. In a world filled with turmoil, confusion, and conflict, God is a constant source of peace. His presence offers stability and serenity, regardless of external circumstances. When we turn to God, we find peace that surpasses the chaos around us, anchoring our hearts in His unshakable love. God's peace is not dependent on favorable circumstances. It is a peace that transcends our situations, remaining constant even in difficult times. While the world's peace is often fleeting and tied to temporary conditions, God's peace is enduring and unchanging, providing comfort no matter what we face. End footnote. Trusting God does not guarantee an absence of adversity, but it enables us to thrive in the midst of it. With God's guidance and strength, we can grow through challenges rather than be crushed by them. Trusting in Him gives us the resilience to not only survive difficulties, but to flourish in them. True peace is not about avoiding problems, but about facing them with God's presence. When we walk through life's challenges with God by our side, we experience peace, knowing He is in control and will provide the strength and wisdom needed to overcome the obstacles in our path. When we invite God to lead our lives, we are tapping into a source of immeasurable power. God's power is greater than any force in the world, and His guidance can transform our lives. Allowing Him to lead means we are empowered to face life's challenges and fulfill our true potential. Life's uncertainties can often leave us feeling confused and unsure of the right direction. But God's light, His wisdom, guidance, and truth dispels the darkness of confusion. When we seek His guidance, He illuminates the path ahead, bringing clarity and understanding to our lives. Unlike human love, which can be influenced by circumstances, God's love for us is unconditional and unchanging. No matter what we do or what happens in our lives, God's love remains constant. This steadfast love provides a secure foundation for us to build our trust and relationship with Him. Inviting God into our situation means surrendering our own plans and opening ourselves to His divine purpose. God has a unique plan for each of us, one that is far greater than anything we could imagine. By seeking His guidance, we align ourselves with that higher purpose and walk in alignment with His will. Life often brings pain, whether emotional, physical, or spiritual. In these moments, God provides unparalleled comfort. His presence offers peace that soothes the soul and reminds us that we are not alone in our suffering. God meets us in our pain and walks alongside us, bringing healing and hope. Our weaknesses and limitations are opportunities for God to show His power. When we surrender our weaknesses to God, He can transform them into strengths. His strength is made perfect in our weakness, and He uses our vulnerabilities to display His glory and help us grow in ways we could never do alone. Surrender is as clear a way of describing that life is a process of surrender. Love is expansive. It comes in many shapes. God desires to bless us, and when we invite Him into our lives, we open ourselves to receive those blessings. These blessings may not always come in the form we expect, but God's provision is always perfect and timely. By seeking Him, we align ourselves with His will and receive His abundant blessings. In times of brokenness, whether it's a fractured relationship, a wounded heart, or a troubled situation, God's presence brings restoration. He has the power to heal, mend, and restore what is broken, renewing us from the inside out and bringing wholeness to areas that feel lost or irreparable. The more we invite God into our lives, the more we experience His peace. As we deepen our relationship with Him, we open ourselves to a greater sense of tranquility that permeates every aspect of our lives. God's peace grows stronger within us the more we turn to Him in trust and surrender. While we may desire quick resolutions, God's timing is always perfect. He knows what is best for us and when it is the right time for us to receive it. Trusting in God's timing means surrendering our impatience and embracing His perfect plan, knowing that He works all things together for our good. Whether we're in a season of joy, difficulty, growth, or rest, God is with us through it all. His presence doesn't change based on our circumstances. He walks with us through every season of life, providing guidance, comfort, and strength as we journey through each phase. God's love is a powerful source of courage. When we truly grasp how deeply we are loved by God, it gives us the strength to face challenges with confidence. His love casts out fear and empowers us to take bold steps, knowing that we are never alone and that His love is a constant source of strength. In times of trouble, God is our refuge, a safe place where we can find shelter and peace. He is our strength, empowering us to endure and overcome adversity. When the storms of life rage, we can find comfort in knowing that God is our protector and source of unwavering strength. No matter what we face, God's grace is more than enough to meet every need. His grace is not just for salvation, but for daily living, helping us navigate difficulties, heal from wounds, and grow in faith. With God's grace, we can face challenges with confidence, knowing that He equips us with everything we need. God's promises are a firm foundation we can rely on. Unlike human promises, which can be broken, God's promises are unbreakable. He is faithful to fulfill every word He has spoken, and His promises provide hope and security in times of uncertainty. Chapter 3. Even in the midst of hardship, we can experience a joy that comes from God. This joy is not dependent on external circumstances, but on our relationship with God and His presence in our lives. It's a deep, inner joy that transcends pain and provides a sense of peace, knowing that God is working in and through us. Fear and anxiety can overwhelm us, but with God's help, we can break free from their grip. God's perfect love casts out fear, and His peace calms our anxieties. By trusting in Him, we allow His peace to fill our hearts and minds, freeing us from the hold that fear and worry have over us. God doesn't just call us to a purpose, He equips us for it. When He calls us to serve or take on a task, He provides the resources, skills, and strength necessary to succeed. With God's help, we can accomplish the work He has set before us, no matter how daunting it may seem. God's Word provides the guidance we need to navigate life's challenges. It is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path, illuminating the way forward. When we read and meditate on Scripture, we gain wisdom, direction, and clarity for every situation we face. Life's storms, whether emotional, physical, or spiritual, can be overwhelming, but our hope in God is a firm anchor that holds us steady. This hope is unshakable because it is rooted in God's promises and His faithfulness. No matter how strong the storm, our hope in God keeps us grounded. God is our healer, capable of restoring us in every way, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Whether we are struggling with illness, brokenness, or spiritual wounds, God's healing touch brings restoration. Through His love and grace, He mends the broken pieces of our lives and brings us back to wholeness. Our true identity is found in God. When we invite Him into our lives, we come to understand who we really are, not defined by our past mistakes, circumstances, or what others say about us, but by God's love and purpose for us. In His presence, we discover the truth of who we are and step into the identity He created for us.